Hello, I'm Matt.
Hi, I'm Alan, and back with us again are
Scott.
Amber.
So this week I think we're going to go delve a little more into cinema. I know we've stated several times that we didn't really want this to become an overtly cinematic show. We don't really want to concentrate on movies, but let's be frank here. This entire subject is fiction. It exists as fiction, and only in certain modern scientific fields has this been brought to light as a possibility in very recent times. So that really leaves the question open, much in the manner of aliens or robotics for that matter. What is possible? And where do you find that data? You watch movies.
That's what I do.
And somebody that we know that's actually kind of a horror movie buff is our friend Amber here. So, Amber, various types of movies, especially older, we're going to call them 70s schlock films, explored several types of zombies. Would you care to go over some different scenarios that have brought about zombies in these movies?
Well, there was one I've watched. It's called Dead and Buried. It's a 70s zombie movie where there was a scientist who took people and when they died, reconstructed them and kind of made them a robot almost, but they were seen as zombies.
Cybernetic zombies, I like this.
Yes, it was classified as a zombie movie, but it's...
Well, we looked up the website Zombiepedia, and on Zombiepedia we actually found quite a number of types of zombies, and one of them listed was cybernetic zombies. Have you seen the movie Virus with Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yes.
Donald Sutherland.
I love Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, he's good. That movie, I think, embodies good cybernetic zombies with a little alien twist. I think it worked because while it doesn't advertise itself as cybernetic zombies, that's what they are. They're reanimated dead that are controlled by this robotic consciousness.
They give you the freedom to choose what you want them to be, but that's what they are.
Yeah.
They're
I
freaking
think
zombies.
my favorite is definitely the No More Room in Hell zombies.
Yeah, you're in favor of the
school,
supernatural zombies.
Of the Lucy Folsey zombies of the movie Zombie 2. Yeah, and there's many movies like that. I appreciate that more than anything, because that's very, very old. And that's kind of where it started more, and it just kind of expanded out of that into random things. And to the virus, which is not I mean, I still don't see that necessarily as a zombie with a virus, because that's like someone with HIV.
Well, right, but if you look at the way they're portrayed in, say, like The Walking Dead, or even in like Dawn of the Dead, they didn't really go into what those zombies were, and the way it's portrayed, it is a virus or a bacterial infection like spinal meningitis or something that takes over the brainstem, and it's essentially controlling you from there, and you have to destroy the brain to kill the virus because it's controlling the body. The body doesn't need its natural function.
It would actually, it killed you in The Walking Dead.
Right.
And then it would take over your... So in
That's
essence, it was a zombie.
Right.
I mean, in essence, it was somebody who had died, been brought back to life.
Yeah.
By this other thing. Yeah.
Reanimation of dead cells.
To me, I one of the things that separates viral zombies, I like to say, from undead viral zombies is the fact that you have to shoot them in the head to kill them.
Well, yeah, because I can see that. 28 days later, it wasn't really made a point to shoot them in the head. It was you.
A couple of gut shots, they're going to eventually die from starvation.
Or blood loss.
That
or
was the
something
thing
like
they
that.
pointed out was the starvation in that one.
Yeah, it's part of the storytelling aspect too. Because I found it interesting when you said that when you said that you in some of the films they don't really explain where a virus comes from. It's part of a storytelling thing. And I also think it's funny because they can't explain it because you're right, it is fiction, and that willing suspense of disbelief that you have as a viewer in a movie is, you're willing to believe anything that happens in that world because you are in that world, and if you're not in that world, of course you're not going to like the movie.
What do they call that? What do they call that writing device where you intentionally don't explain what's happening?
Oh god, I couldn't even name it. I'm in a screenwriting class. I don't even know.
It's fine.
There's one zombie movie
and he's passing.
Terrible, and it's the inconsistency in the zombies were awful. I think it was the Day of the Dead Continuum.
Okay.
That was the worst zombie movie I've ever seen. And Oasis.
Oasis
and
of the
Zombie.
Zombies. Yes, that movie
Because
was horrible.
they were both just terrible zombie movies. And the continuum, the zombies for one moment could be scaling the walls and pretty much invincible and just all over the place, but then when a main character was in trouble, they couldn't even break through a door.
And that's something that I can say about older movies and newer movies just in general. The more cinema as an art form has evolved, the more continuity has been important
Yeah.
to storytelling in general.
And that just, makes a difference between a good movie and a bad movie.
Yeah. That's really cool, actually.
There's certain movies that I can see, there could be bad acting, but I can respect it for different aspects.
Sure.
But when the continuity is just that bad,
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't watch that.
I mean, it's all about telling the story, and if you can't keep someone in your story, you can't make them believe that these are
Yeah, you can't judge.
these are zombies and they are real in this world, and you should be afraid of them because they're not only coming to kill you or to kill the characters in the movie. They're coming to kill you because you are in this film with the characters, and because I've never seen a zombie movie where you are not an active.
Yeah.
You're not an active participant. It's a lot of handheld shots. It's very shaky. You are there with them. There are very few that I've actually even seen where you're just watching them run away from zombies and you're rooting for them. You're running with the survivors.
I don't know how much research either of you have ever done into the reality of a zombie, but Matt here has used his paranoia very well and has actually looked into a whole bunch of real-world scenarios, diseases, and things that could lead to a zombie-type situation. But the actual definition, because somewhere along the line, somebody decided they needed to define what is a zombie. And that definition is anything that loses its cognition, anything that can't think and fills that void through a murderous desire.
Rage.
Yeah. So
There's a lot of psychological diseases right now that
Technically would be
fit
zombie.
that category.
exactly. And there are several parasitic organisms, bacteria, and viruses that can damage your brain in such a way, and do it intentionally, to cause you to, in nature, it would be to cause you to become eaten so that it could then grow in the bowel of another creature. Toxoplasmosis gondii.
Blood flukes.
Yeah, well, that grows in these bugs and causes them to climb up where a bird can eat them, and then they get eaten, and then it grows in the bird's gut, and then the babies, the nematodes are pooped out, and then the bug comes and eats the grass that has them all over it, and then it gets them in its head and climbs to the top of a leaf, and that's its life cycle.
It's the
But it literally
it makes it desire to be eaten.
Toxoplasmosis gondii specifically affects mice and takes over their brain to make them attack cats. So cats will eat them because it has its second part of its life cycle in the cat's gut.
Interesting. That's crazy though. That's crazy. If someone was to
And that's a thing.
to implement it in
the
humans
reality.
would be
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That's real.
They're testing it. Over about 95% of the human population has this in them.
Okay. No, we gotta stop there. It's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazy.
That's a whole other episode.
I start getting crawled.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, this has been great. I really appreciate you guys joining us and talking about some zombies.
What's your favorite zombie movie?
Oh my gosh, way to put me on the spot. Oh my
Don't say Shaun of the Dead. Don't say Shaun of the Dead.
That's too cliche.
I love it. It's so
you know
corny.
what? You know what I will say?
What?
I will say that the first movie that ever introduced me to zombies was Shaun of the Dead. It was after we first got cable, but Shaun of the Dead, simply because it's the introductory thing. Like, you hear a band, the first song you hear that band, you feel like, hey, listen to this, and it's like, oh, that's my favorite song.
Yeah.
But I think that's why. But if I had to pick a second, I would definitely say 28 Days Later, and that is not because they're zombies.
Scary. Yeah.
It's scary, but because it looks real.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes.
It is that it places you in the story because of the camera, the shots, and it also looks with the editing. They make it look like it's actually happening. It looks like a documentary.
Yeah. You?
Maybe children shouldn't play with dead things. That movie is.
Sounds pretty obscure.
It's very funny.
Okay.
It's very, very humorous in very
will check
different
that out.
ways. I mean, for the first moment or two, it's kind of like it takes you aback, but once you get into it, it's like it's just great.
Okay.
I love that movie.
One final question, and I think we're going to wrap it up, guys. If you get bitten, do you want to turn, or do you want to be shot on sight?
As nature has it in many dreams of mine, she is bitten first, and then she bites me, and then we roam as the undead.
So turned.
Turned, definitely, for me.
Turned?
It depend on.
Well, what if being a zombie's awesome?
That's what I'm about to say. It depends on
Yeah.
the kind of like what
Yeah.
exactly kind of zombie it is.
Shamblers. Walking Dead, all the way.
Just to meander the earth,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
constantly, yeah.
I'd like to be a zombie for a
Yeah.
while. Why not?
Shoot me in the face.
Let me turn first, but then do whatever, because I won't care. I'll be dead. All right, thanks, everybody. This has been Zed Patient Zero, and I'm Alan.
Now I'm Matt.
Scott?
Amber.
All right, guys. Stay alive.